Hello, welcome again. This is Chris,
And Brad.
and we are back with VI Productions. That will be our task. That would be our overall name of this entire thing.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Reason why we call it VI Productions, in case anybody was wondering, because it stands for visually impaired. So the entire production agency would be called VI Productions.
Visually Impaired Productions.
Exactly.
Due to the fact that we're visually impaired, we thought that would be an awesome name to show that visually impaired kids can do anything normal people can do, and we can be awesome just as much as anybody else.
Well, I can be awesome. He's getting there.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
I
so today we're going to just give you a short, not really short, but a brief description on what exactly we're using today to start recording with this specific system.
And I just want to make a quick announcement on that. This system setup that we're using right now, we will be using for a little bit, but eventually it will change. I know the quality is a little sucky right now too, so I'm sorry about that, but we are working on that. It will change, and when it does, we will do an update to the system setup, and we're going to do a full detailed walkthrough because we know you're going to love it. We know it's awesome, and we can't wait to share what we're doing here.
Alright, so I'm just going to take it over real quick. We are using a specific software that a lot of people who are in the same kind of work as we would use. It's called a soundboard. For those of you who don't really know what it is...
Hardware, sorry.
Yeah, okay. For those of you who don't really know what it is basically just a system people use, like us, to record and add effects or make your voice sound a lot better. This is what famous people do if they're trying to write music and stuff. Like, for instance, on the radio, they use the same software, except they edited their voice. So instead of hearing our voices, you'd hear this pretty angel kind of noise. So on top of the soundboard are where you'd plug in your microphones. Looks what we're using now. Below those microphones, you have a specific number of rudders. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rudders under each microphone plug-in. Then you have your after your 4 microphones, because this specific soundboard gives you 4 mics, you have input and output system software. And on the very, 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 very end of it, you have an MP3 or an iPod adapter where you can record music and stuff on your adapter. Brad, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to add one thing about the soundboard. It can also be considered... Soundboards are a number of things. They go by the name soundboard, like you said. They go by the name mixer board. They can always go by music boards. I mean, there's a number of names, but usually... DJs use these. Really, anybody in the audio business who has to play with how music sounds or how sound sounds to the normal person, it's usually used. I mean, even if it's a small one, like a 1-channel, which is 1 mic for people who don't know, it's usually used. But here we've got a 4-channel... which means we can plug in 4 different mics simultaneously. A 4-channel board with USB connection.
Exactly. So the USB in our recording that we're doing through the board is going through our computer, and it's going to make us sound pretty when we actually feel like it. And Brad right now is if you would notice that the sound went down a little bit, it's because Brad just adjusted the main knob to make us sound pretty. So now, Brad is going to give you a little bit of facts or information about VI Productions, either our VI Productions' school or contact information, because I am going to go grab one of our friends from the next room over so we can volunteer them. And then he's probably going to go over something else because I have to go and get somebody else. So here he is.
Okay, so I just want to talk about basically where you can reach us, how you can get a message or a question to us, and just, the overall, hey, here we are, here's how you get a hold of us, here's our social networks, because we are on social network, we are just about everywhere, actually. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we've got our own website, which, just by the way, you can get any episode here from us on our website for free. You can download an MP4 copy. I believe it's going to be.
Sorry guys, that was a little bit technical difficulties. And now that we're back, I guess I took over. I went to the other room and I got our friend. Say hello. Don't say your last name, or if you don't want to, you don't have to say your name. Just say hello and describe yourself a little bit.
Hello. So, of course, as you know, I'm an FSTV student, 9th grade. I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm doing print and braille.
So, some of these people don't know what Braille is. Can you describe that a little bit?
Braille is like raised dots that sometimes you might see on elevators and stuff. It's raised dots that we read with our fingers.
Where would I see this this braille that you're talking about? And just for the record, I do take braille, but I'm from an outsider's view. I'm trying to figure out where on an elevator would I see this, because most people don't know that it's braille. So where would you see it normally? Like if I was in a hotel.
On the left of the numbers, usually you'll see dots that are.
You can talk. You're just too close to the mic. It's fine.
Sorry about that, guys.
You can keep talking.
They're raised dots that are basically just dots.
No, I'm sorry. He confused the question a little bit. The question was, where exactly would you find these? Like, would it be on signs or in front of the door, or how would you see them?
It's in elevators. It's on elevators. It's on some ATMs, which is pointless, I think.
Alright, that makes sense. Okay, you ready for your questions?
Yes, sir.
Alright, here's your first question. Remember, if any of these questions are too hard, or too, I guess you could say too hard, or you just don't want to answer them, be my guest. Just say you do not want to answer them because you're uncomfortable answering them, okay?
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
All right.
you don't have to answer these questions. It's all voluntary, and we do appreciate you for coming on today. It really did help.
Alright, so the very first question is a question you already answered. What's your name?
Well, Nick,
Alright, Nick. How long have you been at this school?
this is my 9th year.
And the school I'm referring to is the school we go to, which is the Florida School for the Deaf and the
Yes,
Blind.
this is my 9th year, yep.
What is the most interesting thing that has ever happened to you here at this school?
That's a tough one, but I think I have a few things. The most interesting thing. Can it be good interesting?
It can be anything that you want.
Well, I think the most interesting thing and the coolest thing that's ever happened to me is... Okay, so last February, end of January, beginning of February, I went to something called Young Life Camp in middle school Young Life.
And how long were you there? Just by curiosity.
Like 2 days.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So go ahead and tell us more, because I'm really curious on this.
So, as most of you probably know, the people that are in this room right now, that while I was there, well, if you know anyone named Mackenzie Newman, she's the person that's in the band, in both bands at the school, Outside and Envision. So we were talking there for a few days, and then we began to like each other, and then a week after Young Life Camp, we started going out.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, Nick. So Brad was asking you a question. Continue, Brad.
Could you do me a favor? Tell me, like, just in a short, just to give me an idea, like, if I didn't know her, who is Mackenzie? Who is this, this girl?
She's a musician. She plays the piano, the bass guitar, and she sings.
And the one question I have for you is, do you really like her?
Of course.
Alright, let's ignore him now.
Yeah.
I just had to ask that, because, I mean, I'm sure someone's wondering that.
Alright, at this school here, we have what are called staff, which are pretty much supervisors who watch the students here to make sure that we be on our best behavior, learn, and be taught things that we should have known. Do you have a specific staff that you have as your favorite, or any of that? I mean, if you don't feel like answering, you don't have to, but do you? There's also dorm and the school. Students who are at the dorm have dorm staff, and students who are at the school have regular school teacher staff. So, out of those two, who's your favorite?
Can it be a past dorm staff?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it can be anybody on campus.
Well, only Chris will know this person, Mr. Chris, actually.
Mr. Chris?
Yeah.
Mr. Chris is a elementary dorm staff. He's a really, really good mentor to a lot of the little students there. I used to look up so well to him, and now I don't see him often enough.
Aww.
But that's actually a really good staff. In your opinion, what can the staff here work on?
Well, real quick, I found this over the summer. See, I'm part of the National Federation of the Blind, which is the NFB, and they're an advocacy group. I think the school needs to fall back onto their kind of training, like training blindfolded, doing everything like non-visually, not focusing so much on the vision. Because what if someday that vision is wasted and you need to fall back on something, and they don't teach that to you here? That's my opinion.
Okay.
The school needs to work on NFB tactics a little bit.
I really, and I don't mean to cut in on you. I really do like that, though. I agree with what you're saying. The only thing that I'm gonna disagree with on that is, from a point of view of if you've got vision, shouldn't you work on how to use that vision the best, most, like the most effective way?
But what if you're doing something you can't see?
Yeah, but I mean, to me, if I've got vision now, shouldn't I learn how to use it to the best of my ability instead of trying to concentrate on something that might happen later?
Right, but you don't want to have to strain your eyes trying to do something that you can't really even see that well.
Well, not necessarily.
That's a very good point, especially since the fact that most people, like for instance, I'm going to put myself in here. Most people their vision is starting to deteriorate.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, and before Brad and I get on a discussion about that, let's ask you the next question, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, Nick. In your opinion, what was the hardest thing? No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase the question. At this school or any place in your entire life, what was the hardest thing that you had to overcome pertaining to your vision?
I'm trying to think right now. The hardest thing. Okay. The main obstacle I had to overcome?
Yes, that's what I'm asking, yes.
Well, before I came to this school, I think the hardest thing for me was to be able to see the print that I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any of the technology that I have here. They didn't love any of the textbooks, nothing. I couldn't see a thing in my classes, so I was held back in first grade. I'm actually supposed to, my birthday was in October, I'd be in 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got held back, and my birthday's in October. I'm supposed to be in 10th right now, so I'm only in 9th. So.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing, though. You just get to hang out with Mackenzie that much more.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, this question is a little bit of a personal question. You don't have to answer it.
Okay.
But pertaining to your vision, what is the scariest thing that you have found with your vision? Like, is it deteriorating or anything like that?
It's just to be stable.
It is stable?
Yep.
Oh, well. Good for you. Okay. The next question is, when you were younger, did you have a staff or a student or a best friend or anybody that you idolized, someone who helped you with your vision or just helped you in general?
See, I've had some good friends at the school, but no one that I really idolized. I'd have to say, when I started playing goalball, the person that was there for me most, when I was in middle school, in 6th grade, when I first started playing goalball, I'd have to say it was Ryan Showalter. He helped me out the most with my goalball tactics and everything.
Now, what is goalball?
Oh. Goalball's a sport for the blind. It's played with 2 teams on each side. There's 3 goals all connected together. There's a blue ball with a bell in it, with bells in it. There's ridges in it so you can grip the ball better. And on the court there's tape with strings under it so you can feel where you are and know where you are. And goalball tournaments are usually played for days. It's a turn. It's not just one game that you play. So people are sleep shades, and they have to. There's a center, middle wing, right wing, and left wing, and you have to throw the ball roll the ball into the goal to get a point. But there's also penalty shots. So if there's a penalty on that team and on that player from that team has to defend 1 shot.
How do they defend?
Okay, so they're on like their hands, and they're kind of standing. They're kind of kneeling. I guess you can kind of say out the proper terminology is for that though. So they have to dive wherever they hear the ball. But if it's in front, like they either have to plop down right where they are, or slide to the left or the right.
So you're
Really
saying that
interesting.
in that game, they have to block the goal ball with their body, so they would be in their position. I guess you could say a crouching position. And when they hear the ball coming, they slide on their side, put their arms out in front of them, and protect the goal.
Like they put them arms out and legs out to the side.
Okay.
I really like this. I think this is really interesting. Thank you for bringing it up, Nick. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for the question, Chris.
Last question of the day. Do you believe, or I'm sorry, second to last question. Do you believe that this school here would be a very good school for blind, deaf, visually impaired, or deaf impaired? Would you recommend this place for other people?
And I'm just gonna add on to that question. If so, why? What is your reasoning for that? Like, what if someone asked you, well, Nick, what makes it so great? What would your comment be?
Or, well, why is it so bad? What would your comment be?
Yeah.
Well, I have pros and cons on both sides actually.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to share, I'd love to hear.
Okay. So the pros of the school first. Okay, first of all, I think the person that comes to this school should come when closer to when in high school if they're farther away.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in elementary and you live here, that's a great time to come here. If you're in elementary and you live here, that's perfect. Don't send your child on a bus when they're like 6 years old on a bus for 5 hours. That's what I started out with.
Yeah, that has to be really annoying. And from all of us here at FSDB, because we all are from FSDB, we are actually broadcasting from here right now. It is really a great school, but some of the things that we go through every day are a little bit of a pain. One of them being the bus ride on Sundays and Fridays. We come in Sundays. We are boarding students, and we come from all over the state. So that's just that's my comment. I'm sorry for cutting you off, like I said, Nick.
So also, I think they're Braille. I'm sorry to badly. I'm not trying to bag on you a little bit, but
It's fine. Go ahead. I already know what you're gonna say.
well, in Braille, we're not even supposed to do this in Braille. But this year, the teacher for some reason started letting him use his eyes to read the Braille. Which they need
Well,
to.
technically, I'm not always reading with my eyes. And technically, that isn't a bad thing because we have been told, and you do it sometimes. I'm just gonna bag on you for a second.
I can barely see it though.
But we both do it, and I bag on you at times, and I've got to do it right now.
Yeah.
You love to read with your
Sleep shades.
eyes, and then you try to say that because you put your sleep shades on, you've never done it. So I just got to bag on him for that. And when he doesn't read with his eyes, he loves to brag about it.
Just real quick, let me intervene. Braille is a sequence of upraised dots that people who cannot see or have trouble seeing use to read. For instance, the word "the" to us is a horizontal line on a vertical line. The T to them would be dots.
2, 3, 4, 5.
2, 3, 4, 5. So their dots would be in a specific position, and they would know what their T would be. So then there's contracted Braille, but we're not going to go into that. We're just going.
That is its own contraction actually. It's its own contraction.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different. There's a lot of differences with Braille. Like you've got different types of Braille. If you got, like Chris said, you've got contracted, you've got uncontracted, you've got elementary style Braille, you've got Nimith, which is a different type of contracted Braille for people who don't really know a ton.
8-dot Braille.
Yeah, you got 8 dots because normally with Braille, it's a cell of 6 dots, 3 on both sides. So, yeah.
All right, Nick, here's the last question before we get in a bad tangent. With your visual impairment, do you think when you actually get a job, do you think you would be able to do that job? Let me rephrase the question, I'm sorry. With your visual impairment, do you think whatever job you get, you can fix it, you can do certain things to make it easier? And adding on to that question, do you think you'd be able to operate any machinery?
For my vision? Like, my vision is very complicated. It's called optic nerve hypoplasia. And
Okay, let's dumb it down for people like me.
Well, ONH, it's called ONH for short. It's where my optic nerves in my eyes are underdeveloped. So basically, think of a movie theater. You know those back rooms that have all those wires that aren't even labeled. That's my eye. It's just a bunch of little cords that aren't even labeled that are broken. That's my eye for you. And so basically, unfortunately, I don't think there's any way to fix my eye condition. They're working on it. We're not sure if it's going to work yet. It's all the way in China. It can only be done in China. It's the only place it's legal in. And it's like $5,000. It's a very expensive surgery. It's a stem cell treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So they take someone's stem cells, put them into your eyes, and see if it works. My mom's researching that still right now, and we've been researching it for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to wait for another 5 years to see more results about people that that have ONH.
So.
And also, wait.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Also, my eye condition. This doesn't happen with all people that have ONH, but for my eye condition ONH, I don't have sense of smell either. So yeah, I don't have sense of smell. My taste buds are a little off also.
And I can attest to that. I am in the same dorm with him, and I'm in most of his classes, and I can attest to the fact that he can't smell anything, and he can barely taste anything.
Well, thank you, Nick. It was really nice of you to come in and have a conversation with us. And Nick was going to help us with the next segment, but since we got to wrap it up, I think it'd be easier if we introduce a new person. So, Nick, if you want to be in the next segment, it's all fine by me, but I wanted to introduce someone else that was also helping us. So, if you want, you can go back to your room and hang out.
Okay.
But you have to stay, Ishmael. And Avery, you switch places with me.
What?
You're switching places with me.
Sorry for the momentary confusion, everybody. We're just trying to get people set up here.
So, thank you, Nick, for coming, and we're glad that you came and helped us out, okay?
Yep.
All right, Ishmael, that would be another one of our people. Please sit down on the couch. All right, we are going to introduce 2 new people. The very first person we are going to introduce, his name is Avery Hutcherson. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I pronounced your last name wrong, and then I realized I'm not supposed to say your last name, so let's just pretend his name's actually Avery. So, Avery, give us a little description of yourself, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, well, I'm Avery. I'm like 14 years old, 9th grade. Bradley needs to stop laughing or I'm going to
Single?
throw my phone at it. No, I'm not single.
Oh. Well, tell us
The-
about her. We're
No.
all curious.
No, I'm not going to tell you about her.
Okay. Now, next, Ishmael, give us something about yourself.
My name is Ishmael.
Come towards this way, bud. Right here.
Okay, my name is Ishmael Saban, and I'm a 9th grader, 16 years of age. Yeah, I'm single.
Ladies, watch out.
He's willing and ready.
Yeah, I like fast cars. I like basketball. Whatever.
He's not that bad.
Yeah, whatever. I really want to be a rap artist. You know, get famous, get my name known out there. I also got Facebook in case y'all want to follow me. You know, see what's going on. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So, I'm going to give you guys a topic. So, this specific thing that we're about to do this is called a dispute. Hopefully, once every show, we are going to start having these disputes, except if it's an important show like Wednesday, the 30th of this year, 2013. 29th, I'm sorry, 29th. Whatever it is. So, the dispute today is going to be, the topic is, what can we do to slow or stop pollution? So what are your thoughts on what we could do to slow or stop pollution in the environment that we are doing today? Avery, you can begin.
Okay. Well, one thing I think we can slow and stop pollution is, stop throwing things in the ocean. Because actually, our ocean right now, it's got like a ton of plastic in it that's just been ground down in the ocean to become basically little tiny plastic sand. So if we like stopped throwing everything in the ocean, then that help a lot because fish stop eating it, they'll stop dying, birds will stop dying, all sorts of stuff. Okay, and then, less pollution.
Well, okay, Ishmael, what are your ideas? What do you think you can do to stop or slow pollution?
Maybe if you see some trash on the sidewalk, you should probably pick it up, not throw it away. It's like, make sure you clean up your area around you.
Anything else you guys want to add in?
No.
Probably just like recycle more too.
Yeah,
That's kind of the obvious one.
Like throw your plastic cans in recycle paper.
Yeah.
Don't throw paper in the trash can.
Don't throw paper in the trash can.
Wait, so where
it's
should
better
we
to
throw it?
It's better to throw it in the recycling bin. Because just keep cutting down trees for more paper.
Sorry. Alright. That's the end of our dispute, and this is the end of our second episode. Remember to stay tuned for our live stream episode on the 29th, 2014 of this month, which is October. And I hope you have a really great time doing whatever you're going to do. And here's Brad signing us off.
This is Brad.
Thanks for listening. And we're signing off now.